Well, President Trump recently issued a much-needed executive order protecting free speech on college campuses. Donald Trump Jr. acknowledged how much my first guest had to do with that. I want you to welcome the founder and the executive director of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk. So, Charlie, how big a deal was it that the president issued the executive order about free speech on college campuses?
It was historic. And for those that are not as into the college campus controversies as I am, these campuses have become islands of totalitarianism, where if you disagree with the predominant left-wing viewpoint on campus, you could be disinvited, you can be shut up, you could be silenced.
You have been on many occasions.
Many times, whether it be DePaul University in Chicago or Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. And what this executive order did is very simple. It's not a conservative or a liberal issue. It's an issue of constitutional freedom, that if a university fails to protect the First Amendment rights of its students, their federal funding could potentially be put in jeopardy.
When you've been on college campuses, you have actually been shouted down, you've been disinvited, you've been escorted off the campus. What was the reason you were given for being shown the door?
Well, the universities, they're careful not to blame viewpoint. They'll use, oh, it's too expensive to bring him to campus because of all the protests. Now, mind you, the professors are telling their students to go protest me. The administration does nothing to prevent this sort of incitement amongst the students. And then they blame the high security costs because of the very students that are being told to go protest us. But the common denominator is this, is that college campuses should be a marketplace of ideas, where you can have debate and dialogue and discussion, where you can hear something that is different than the point of view that you're entering with. That college campuses are a place where students should leave more mature than when they enter. And right now, that's not the case. Students are actually isolated. They're sheltered away from any sort of opposition viewpoint. Their safe spaces, for example, are common on universities across college campuses. And you've had some brilliant commentary on this, Governor, where students, if they hear an opinion they might find objectionable, quite honestly, if they hear something they disagree with, they can retreat to a physical safe space where there's milk and cookies. It sounds like almost like a joke, but this is something that our college campuses are pushing. The colleges should be about career preparation and getting students hardened for the real world, not sheltering them from differing opinions.
When Turning Point USA started back in 2012, I mean, it was just a dream you had. Now you and Candace Owens and others in Turning Point, you have chapters all over America. Explain to us the vision of Turning Point. What is it that you guys are doing on campuses to give people a sense of their freedom and their constitutional rights?
Well, thank you for the kind words. I started this when I was 18 years old with no connections, no money, and no idea what I was doing. But only in America could a kid with no money, no connections, and no idea what he was doing risk it all, not even go to college, be an entrepreneur at heart, with a vision and hard work and succeed. Only in America is that possible. And for the last 6.5 years now, we've seen this organization grow from just my idea, just an idea in my head, to now 1,400 college and high school campuses.
1,400?
That's correct.
That is fantastic.
Thank you, thank you.
What a legacy.
And our vision is to win America's culture war. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's to answer the really big questions. What kind of country are we gonna be? Are we gonna be a country that embraces the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, which means out of many one, which your beautiful monologue touched on? Or are we gonna be a country that is divide and conquer, which is what the American left is really striving for? Are we gonna be a country of victims or victors? Are we gonna be a country that is thankful that we live here, or a country that we're angry that we live here? These are the fundamental questions that will determine the current culture conversation that we're in. We call it a culture war, obviously a metaphorical culture war. And right now you have an entire political party, an entire sector of the American cultural conversation that wants to make us centered on victims, divide and conquer, and angry that they live in America.
So what are the key things that you're trying to say to these students?
3 really big things. America's the greatest country ever to exist in the history of the world. The Constitution, thank you.
Can't argue with that.
The second thing is the Constitution's the greatest political document ever written. And the third thing, is that free enterprise capitalism is the most moral, proven, and effective economic system ever discovered. These are the 3 big things that we bring to campuses. I'll tell you, these are not political issues, Governor. We have been given a gift by God to live in this country. And
Yes,
I'm afraid that we are on a path of losing that because of a lack of appreciation of the fundamental values and the improbability that we're able to exist in this country at this time.
I love your enthusiasm and even your optimism, because a lot of us are looking at college students, and particularly the entire millennial generation, and we're seeing them say, we want socialism, you know, we don't want free speech. But you're giving me a little bit of hope, Charlie, that once they understand what the options are, they're not averse to taking the right path.
Not at all. And the importance of our fight is so critical right now, because whatever happens on campus today will happen in Congress tomorrow. The radicals that might give you unease that you see in Congress, they were trained on college campuses, and that's where they got these negative ideas. And so the culture battle that we're fighting today is going to have both short and long-term ramifications.
My thanks to Charlie Kirk for helping just fight the battle for free speech against mobs and the thought police on America's campuses. If you want to learn more and see how you can help, and you can help, and I hope you will, if you like what Charlie is saying, visit Turning Point USA online at tpusa.com. You can also follow him on Twitter at CharlieKirk11. And I tell you something, his Twitter account is phenomenal. You'll want to sign up for Twitter just to follow Charlie.